Hi, this is Jim Hayes with the Residual Incentive Program being offered by the REMAX Premier Group. I am excited to be able to introduce this new compensation program that's being offered by the REMAX Premier Group. You may ask, why do we need another compensation program? Well, think about it, guys. I don't know about you and how long you've been in the real estate business, but my wife and I are a team. We've been in this for a long time. And we sell homes, about 30 or 40 homes a year. Well, that makes a decent living, but it's something we got to continue to do all the time. It's not anything we can retire from. You have to work or you don't eat, right? Welcome to real estate. Well, I think there's a better way. If you could have a program, an office that had a program that was designed 100% on helping you make the most profitability possible, okay? That's what this program's all about. We're here so that you don't have to kill yourself, yet you can make a very good living. Now, before we talk about the exact details of how it works, you need to understand, to qualify for the Residual Incentive Program, you must be a selling agent. Now, what does that mean? The definition of an active selling agent in the Residual Incentive Program is that you close $10,000 gross commission income every quarter. As long as you close a minimum of $10,000 gross commission income every quarter, then you're an active selling agent in the Residual Incentive Program, and you qualify to receive residuals on any agent that you sponsor into the Residual Incentive Program. Now, how does that work? Very simple. We have the same video you're watching right now. You can either put it on a thumb drive or you can email it to a colleague. Simply send an email that says, are you familiar with the Residual Incentive Program being offered by the REMAX Premier Group? Watch the attached video. I think you'll find it interesting. That's all there is to it. They watch the same video you're watching right now. If they like the concept, they'll come to one of our training classes. They'll sit down, they'll ask questions. If they like it, they join, and you just sponsored someone into the Residual Incentive Program. It's that simple, guys. That's all there is to it. Now, when you sponsor someone into the Residual Incentive Program, you need to take a little ownership in that, and we'll talk about that a little later on. But you need to take ownership in that you're going to help these people to sell homes, because they need to stay active. If they're not active, it doesn't do them any good, and it doesn't do you any good. So they have to be at least selling minimum of $10,000 gross commission income per calendar quarter. It's that simple. All right, so what if they do sell? Let's just talk about an example. We have an example on the board. If we had a house, say a $167,000 home at 3% commission, that'd be a $5,000 gross commission income. Well, then in this case, you'd only need to sell 2 of these per calendar quarter to remain as an active selling agent, right? That's very simple. Anybody can do that. That's only 8 sales a calendar year, okay? So that's kind of what we'd consider the minimum. Now, what we want to do is get you to the point where you're doing somewhere between 12 and 24, 30 deals per year. If you can get somewhere in the 24 to 30 transactions a year, you're making a pretty good living just on your sales, but at the same time, you're going to be making some good money on the residuals. Why? And what are residuals all about? Well, the residuals are like this. If you sponsor a person into the Residual Incentive Program and they sell a home like this, an example, you can earn up to 10% of their gross commission income each and every time they sell a property. So what does that mean? Let's take a look. If they sold a house at $5,000 gross commission income and you had a 10% and you were paid 10% of the gross commission income, you would receive $500 every time they closed this type of a home. Now that's pretty good, guys. $500 per closing per person that you sponsor. That sure beats one of those profit sharing things, the multi-level marketing things. Understand, this is not a multi-level marketing program. This is a single level residual up to 10% of the gross commission income of anyone you sponsor into the program. This is something that you can get excited about. What if this person only sells 1 home a month, right? 12 homes a year. Well, number one, they're still going to be an active agent, right? Because all we need is, what, 8 homes a year to be active. Well, if they're selling 12, that's really good. But let's just say they're selling 12 homes a year. So if we do that times 12, 1 home a month is what they're making, right? As they're closing, that's $6,000. So you're going to get paid $6,000 for every person that you bring in if you're at the 10% level. Now, we're going to talk about this later in an additional video, but I want you to understand, to qualify for 10%, you would have sponsored 10 people. Well, if you sponsored 10 people and each one was only selling one home a month, okay, we're trying to be conservative here. If everybody's only selling one home a month and you're at $6,000 per agent that you're sponsoring that's only selling one home a month, then you'd be making an extra $60,000 on top of the sales that you're making as a real estate salesperson that you're already doing, right? So that is pretty nice. That's a residual. That's money that you're making that you're not having to go out there and work and do it. All you had to do was simply talk to one individual, either hand them a thumb drive, send them an email, and then follow up with them, get them to a meeting. They decide they're interested in this program, they join, you just sponsored another person into the residual incentive program, and then when they sell homes, you get paid up to 10% of their gross commission income. Now, are you limited to 10? Of course not. You can talk to people all the time. You could talk to people, you could hire a person. I mean, you're not hiring them, understand. All you're doing is talking to them and sponsoring them. It's the REMAX management that's actually doing the hiring, okay? But you're going to introduce, you could talk to somebody and bring somebody on board once a week, right? That'd be phenomenal, but let's not get crazy here. Let's say that over a year, you did 10. How about in the second year, you do another 10? Well, now if you get to 20 and they're all doing the same thing, you'd be doing $120,000. That's $120,000 of mailbox money. That's what I call residuals, because you're not having to do it. You can go on vacation. When they close deals, money goes in your account. It's that simple. This is a very awesome way of making some extra money, a second stream of income, okay? When you get to 30 people, what? Up to say 180,000? Now understand, these are not maxes by any means. These are just examples. We'll talk more about what the max would be a little later on. But I want you to be aware of what we're talking about. So now you can see where easily you could sell somewhere between 12 and 24 homes a year and still make $150,000 to $200,000 a year just by talking to a few folks, sending a few emails, handing out a few thumb drives. It's that simple, guys. That's the residual portion of the residual incentive program. Now, let's talk about the incentive portion. The incentive portion of the residual incentive program is just as exciting as the residual portion. What kind of incentives are we talking about? Well, the first incentive that I want to talk to you about is one you don't even have to recruit anybody. There's no sponsorship required at all. It's just an incentive to join the residual incentive program. Once you join the residual incentive program, within 6 months after you join, you just have to close $20,000 gross commission income. So once you've closed $20,000 gross commission income, or an example of 4 of these type of homes, but your average sales price could be higher, it could be less than that, but $20,000 gross commission income, then you'll have a choice. We will either purchase you an iPad 2, you like those, or we've gone out and done some research and found a tool that's more real estate focused. This is known as the E-Slate. It's capital E, 2 little e's, followed by the word slate. It's an E-Slate. It's put out by a company known as Asus, or Asus. I think they pronounced Asus, okay? They are a Taiwanese company that's building a lot of computers now. This is an awesome machine. It's a full computer. It has an i5 chip. It has 4 gigabytes of RAM. It has a 64 gigabyte solid state hard disk. It has 2 USB ports on the side. It has an HDMI output. It also has an SD card that you can slide in here. I went out and bought a 64 gigabyte. So not only do I have a 64 gigabyte solid state hard disk, I now have a 64 gigabyte external storage device. So I can put that back in there and you'll see it come up here in a second. So okay. Now, just to show you an example, we're sitting here at Netris. I loaded Netris, right? And to this point, the iPad 2 could do the same thing. But if you were to type this into an iPad 2 and say search, nothing would happen because with an iPad 2, it doesn't work. okay? You have to have the Internet Explorer, and the iPad 2 doesn't have that. Now you can do, with an iPad 2, they do have an app that will run another computer somewhere, but you don't really have the computer here. So it's your choice, and believe me, we'll let you have either one. We'll buy you the iPad 2, or we'll buy you the eSlate. The nice thing about the eSlate is it's full computer capability in your hands. It also comes with a Bluetooth keyboard and a digitizer, which is kind of nice. It's not just a stylus, it's an actual digitizer. And it's phenomenal. This is really a good little tool to use. Let me just show you an example here. If I go to the search, actually, see, brings it up just like on a laptop, but you don't have this big keyboard hanging out. But I can go to the, if it'll click, there we go. It's going to go to the pictures. I can turn it on the side, and hey, it's a tablet, right? Now you can see all the pictures. And you can turn it back like this, and it goes away and comes back. It's an awesome tool, guys. Great presentation tool, and believe me, your clients are going to love this thing. Now, you can either have that or the iPad 2, your choice, once you've closed $20,000 gross commission income in the residual incentive program. Now, what's some more incentives, Jim? Well, the next incentive that I have is when you are closing a minimum of $5,000 per month or $15,000 per calendar quarter, right? So if you're doing that and you've sponsored at least one person per calendar quarter, then we will pay for you a bookkeeper. So all you have to do is bring us your receipts, and we'll take them to the bookkeeper. They'll scan them into QuickBooks, bring you back the little disc, and you'll have all your profit and loss and everything up to date, so you'll know exactly where you stand as far as your profits, as far as taxes. That's a nice little incentive. Another incentive we have is a cruise. We're going to plan on going to a cruise next March, and we're going to take everybody that qualifies. We want everybody to qualify. How do you qualify? It's simple. All you do is you sell $5,000 a month again, or $15,000 a quarter. That's it. That's $15,000 gross commission income in per quarter, or $5,000 gross commission income per month. Just continue. You can do it either way, right? And sponsor 2 people per calendar quarter into the residual incentive program. You do that, you qualify, we'll send you and a companion on a trip to the Caribbean. We're going to do a Caribbean cruise, and it'll be a blast. We'll have a whole group of us going, or you can just stay in your stateroom and stay away from us, whatever turns you on, right? But that'll be another incentive that we offer. What's some other incentives? How would you like to have your REMAX fees paid? That $395 that you have to pay every year, how'd you like to have the residual incentive program pay that for you? That's something we can do. How would you like to have your board fees paid for you? See, whether you're at Collin County Association of Realtors or Metrotex, doesn't matter. We can pay those. We'll just come up with anything that you want. You tell us what you want for an incentive. We'll figure out the qualifications to make it. And as long as you qualify, we can do that through the residual incentive program. So it's an exciting program. It's designed for the residual income that you can make. It's designed for incentives. Actually gives you incentives to sell, so you have a minimum standard you got to live by. That's great. And then there's also another feature that we're going to get to in the next video that you're really going to love. It has a fabulous retirement built in, okay? We have a retirement program second to none in the real estate industry. As far as I know, second to none in the world. You're going to love that. So hang on and watch the next video. Hi guys, Jim Hayes again with the Residual Incentive Program, and I want to explain to you one of the most exciting parts of the Residual Incentive Program, and that's the retirement plan. This is awesome. Second to none in the industry, and as far as I'm concerned, second to none in the world. How does this work? Well, once you've joined the Residual Incentive Program, you must stay in for at least 2 years. And of those 2 years, you must be active selling agent. You have to be an active selling agent for 6 out of the 8 quarters. Now, you can be 8 out of the 8, that's great. But if for some reason you had a problem, you didn't get active for 2 of the quarters, you can still qualify, okay? So it's 2 years, 6 out of the 8 quarters, you must be an active selling agent, and then you're vested. You're basically retirement vested. That means that you no longer have to sell any real estate to qualify for the residuals, okay? You'll get your residuals even if you don't sell any houses. Now, that by no means you're going to stop selling real estate. It just means that you have the right to if you want to. So it does give you retirement capability. So Here's the cool part. Once you're at the retirement vested stage, you can continue to add people on board, right? You can still sponsor people into the residual incentive program through the REMAX Premier Group, and you'll still get the residuals. So that's a good thing. It's going to get better. If you even were to die, it would be 100% transferable to your heirs. So your heirs would get the same residuals that you would get. No deduction. For all the active agents, they're going to get the percentage based on the active agents of all the agents you've sponsored, right? And they can add people on board as well. So if they know agents that they can send this way, then they can add to their retirement. So again, this is a phenomenal retirement plan, second to none in the real estate industry, as far as I know, second to none in the world. If you have any questions, give me a call. My number's right here on the screen. Or better than that, come to our training class Tuesday, 12 to 1:30 at Independence and Spring Creek, the REMAX Premier Group Training Center, 3rd floor. We do it every Tuesday. You need to come to those training classes. We're there to introduce the residual incentive program to new people, to refresh your memory. Also, at the end of each class on that portion, we have a training class that's aimed at helping you become more productive. So each week is different training. You need to come to the training. We're going to have new training. We're going to hold each other accountable. It's going to be a great idea, great concept, and great training programs. So you need to come. Look forward to seeing you then. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.